What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy Dylan the Villain, and we're coming back at you once again with some Total Extreme Wrestling 2020. We are in 2001. It is Wednesday. We have changed today, and we are going to do some ECW Hardcore TV. We are still in the Viking Hall, and thank y'all for joining us for the very first episode last week of ECW 2001. What we are doing here is basically doing a what if scenario, right? Like, what if in 2001, when WWF bought the rights to ECW, they made ECW pretty much a child company, a developmental company, and sent workers down there and called out workers and all that stuff. I never played a TEW save to where I was a developmental company, so this is going to be quite fun to try to book around and try to do all that stuff. But in our pre-show matchup, about that didn't have much heat and terrible wrestling, Randy Orton defeated Simon Diamond by pinfall with an ozone. The match got a 25, Randy Orton with a 30, and Simon Diamond with a 27. This guy still sucks as a rotated. I need to take him. I need to fire that guy. And announcing color commentary gave the match a boost, and Don Marie is the manager of Simon Diamond. And we are going to move on to our next pre-show matchup, which is a tag team match. And about that had terrible wrestling on this crowd heat. The Minnesota Stretching Crew defeated the Island when Brock Lesnar defeated Emoko Futa, which I believe it is that guy, also known as Umaga, with an overhead belly-to-belly suplex. Brock Lesnar carried the match in terms of ring performance. He got a 41, so yeah, I guess so. 30. Shelton Benjamin with a 17. Brock Lesnar with a 41. Igmo Futu 17, and Kamau with a 16. The crowd did not like seeing Shelton Benjamin or that guy, and Belt and the color commentary gave the match a boost. They need to gain some more popularity here. We go to our opening contest of the night, which is the ECW Tag Team Championships being defended against the Haas Brothers. And about that had terrible wrestling and non-existent crowd heat. Roadkill and Danny Dorian defeat the Haas Brothers when Roadkill pinned Russ Haas with an Amish bomb. Roadkill and Danny Dorian make defense number 1 of the ECW World Tag Team World Tag Team titles. That is our Tag Team Champions, Roadkill and Danny Dorian. They defend against the Haas Brothers. Danny Dorian with a 39, Roadkill with a 38, Riz Haas with a 11, that's terrible, and Charlie Haas with a 15. The crowd did not, got a little static with a vocal crowd who clearly was not impressed with Charlie Haas. The rowdy crowd also did not like Ross Haas. They need to gain some more pop. And the match got a 31. Announcing color commentary gave the match a boost. And we're going to move on to the next segment, which is a promo. Wow. So he is not good cutting promos. That is good to know. This might be a terrible show, guys. But Sean O'Hare, he cuts a promo, and he has Olivia Voss next to him. If y'all play a certain card game, y'all know where I stole the name Olivia Voss from. But she is a vampire succubus gimmick, and Sean O'Hare doing his devil's advocate gimmick, and he's basically, you know, the typical Sean O'Hare devil's advocate gimmick that he had. Basically, like, give in to sin, give in to your desires, give in to lust. You know, lust is what makes us human. Lusting for something. You know, it could be lusting for anything. A beautiful woman, and he points to Olivia next to him. He goes, a beautiful woman. Or it could be gold, championship, money, whatever it is. Lust basically signifies that you have human desires. Yeah, people say it's a sin, but having those desires lets you know that you're human. So just give in to them. And soon I'll be here in Extreme Championship Wrestling to fulfill my lust for gold in ECW. And we move on to our next segment. It's basically a hype promo, basically saying that Sean O'Haire is coming to ECW. We move on to our television title tournament. As you've seen last week, the television title was vacated by Rhyno, who is our world champion. And Paul Heyman is looking for a new television champion. And about that had a decent reaction from the crowd. And Superb Wrestling, Spike Dudley defeats Super Crazy by pinfall with an acid drop. This match got a 39, not bad. Spike Dudley with a 44 and Super Crazy with a 25. Whew. The TV title storyline automatically advances. The pretty vocal crowd did not like seeing Super Crazy, that's not true. Not especially around this time. And announcing color commentary gave the match a boost. Super Crazy was, no pun intended, but was super crazily over in ECW. Especially around this time. By the end of ECW, Super Crazy was super over. But Spike Dudley picks up the win, and we're going to move on to the next segment, which is the second match, which had a decent reaction from the crowd and Superb Wrestling. But Nunzio defeats Kid Cash with a Sicilian Crab by submission. The match got a 43. That's what we kind of want to see. Nunzio with a 33 and Kid Cash with a 45. The TV title storyline advances. The crowd did not like seeing Kid Cash. Announcing color commentary to give the match a boost. And we're going to move on to the next segment. The crowd not too pleased seeing certain wrestlers here. It is the one and only Steve Corino. And Steve Corino says he's happy. You know, he's happy that ECW is back on television. He's pleased that the World Wrestling Federation has picked up ECW. Because Paul Heyman didn't know how to manage a company, and he finds it quite humorous that they would put an idiot buffoon like Paul Heyman in charge of ECW after basically making the company go bankrupt. And he doesn't understand why Vince McMahon and the board of directors would put somebody like Paul Heyman back in charge of ECW. But he says he hasn't forgot about the past. And I hope that the viewers at home haven't forgot about the past either. And the people in the ECW arena hasn't forgot about the past either, because Steve Corino was a world champion. Steve Corino was the top champion in ECW. And he's basically saying he doesn't care who wins tonight's main event of Taz versus Rhyno. As we saw, that got put together last week. Taz challenged Rhyno. He says he doesn't care who wins that matchup, because Steve Corino is going to take back what's his, and that's the ECW World Heavyweight Championship. And once he wins the World Heavyweight Championship, he hopes that WWE realizes that he's too good to be down here wrestling in bingo halls, and that they call him up to the main roster to where he can work with guys who know what real wrestling maneuvers are. Guys like Chris Jericho, guys like Eddie Guerrero, guys like Chris Benoit. That's who he wants to wrestle. He's tired of wrestling these guys who doesn't know a wrist lock from a wristwatch. And he's here. He's back in ECW to make a statement. And he's going to take back what's his. And that's the World Heavyweight Championship. We're going to move on to the next segment, which is Steve Corino. And he demolishes old D'Lo Brown. He did good. He got a 63. He's one of the... Yeah, he's definitely one of the top guys here. Steve Rhyno defeats D'Lo Brown by pinfall with an old school explosion. The match got a 56, not bad. He got a 63, that's really good. And D'Lo with a 40. I would expect that out of D'Lo. And color commentary gave the match a boost. And we go on to another match up here tonight, which is Jerry Lynn versus Too Cold Scorpio. 2 ECW, I guess I would call Jerry Lynn an original. And Too Cold Scorpio is definitely an original. Basically showcasing their talents. Jerry Lynn with a 59 and Too Cold Scorpio with a 41. We also are doing an hour and a half of television, so we kind of got to put some more matches on there. And I figured this is a great match to put on and fill up the card. The match got a 55. Awesome stuff. And we're going to move on to the next segment, which is, I believe, a hype promo by one Rob Van Dam. Sabu, I'm sorry. The segment got a 82. Paul Heyman basically finds Sabu backstage, and he's asking Sabu, why on earth did you attack your best friend, Rob Van Dam? What made you snap? What pushed you to the breaking point of beating up your best friend, Rob Van Dam, and your long-term manager, Bill Alfonso? You know, like, what's going on? And everything. Sabu, he's the quiet type. He doesn't really talk. He really doesn't answer too much questions. And Sabu goes, Heyman, all you got to worry, all I want from you is to book me against that glory hog, egotistical son of a bitch, Rob Van Dam. And Heyman's like, what? Like, I'm surprised that you're talking about Rob Van Dam like that. You know, like, Rob Van Dam had your back and all these times. And Sabu was just like, I don't care. You know, I don't care about any of this. I don't care about any of that. I don't care about the past. He goes, Rob Van Dam stole the glory, stole the spotlight from me so many times, and I just sat back and let him. He's like, I should be the top guy in ECW, not Rob Van Dam. You know, the fans should be chanting Sabu, not Rob RVD. And he goes, after last week's match against the Dudleys and him trying to be a glory hog and hog the spotlight and not tag me in, he got beat 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring after a 3D. And he's like, I just had enough of Rob Van Dam, and I want a match with Rob Van Dam at the next pay-per-view. And Paul Heyman's just like, well, he's like, I'm going to have to fill out some paperwork and everything like that. And yeah, you know, like, yeah, I'll try my best to get it done. So, Sabu basically saying that he wants Rob Van Dam. He wants Rob Van Dam, and he wants Rob Van Dam at the pay-per-view. And he doesn't give a shit what Paul Heyman has to do to get the match done. He wants his match. And we move on to the main event. In an exceptional match, Rhyno defeats Taz by pinfall with a power driver following interference by Samoa Joe. Who the hell is Samoa Joe? Rhyno makes defense number 1 of the ECW World Heavyweight title. This Samoa Joe guy comes out and basically hits Taz in the back of the head with a chair, giving Rhyno the win. Rhyno 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring, and he leaves. The storyline gains heat. The match got a 72. Not bad. Awesome match. Awesome match. And I got to change his picture because I don't want him looking like that. But anyway, Samoa Joe stands there, right? And the crowd's kind of like, who the hell is this Samoa Joe? Like, who is this guy? Who is this kid? You know? And he's standing over Taz, and he puts Taz in the Taz mission. Taz's signature submission hold. This Samoa Joe guy just drops down and puts him in that hold and starts choking out Taz as security runs to the ring and breaks him up as Rhyno just laughs and he leaves. We don't know if Rhyno it has anything doing with Samoa Joe or not, but we will have to find out. This show's over, guys. We're going to have to find out next week on ECW. We got a 69. Nice. The Sean O'Hara promo angle did terrible, so we're going to have to try to get him a good mouthpiece moving forward. We're going to have to try to get him a good mouthpiece and try to get him some pop, because that bombed bad. We increased our popularity in 17 regions, so that's good. We got a 69. But the Samoa Joe kid, man, who's Samoa Joe? Why is he here? And why did he attack Taz, of all people? We are going to have to find out. Maybe we can get some answers next week on ECW television, ECW Hardcore TV. We have some decisions, hopefully. The WWF does not call up anybody, but Scott Steiner joins New Japan Pro Wrestling. Let's see here. Looks like WWF is going to sign some more people to fill in some gaps. They might call some people up. Hopefully they don't call people up. I don't want certain people to be called up at the moment. I got some big storylines moving forward and stuff like that. Don Callis joins ECW. The reason why we could not bring him to ECW, even though he was Cyrus the Virus, is because people on the main roster do not like him. And they made it very vocal that I could not hire this guy. So I didn't want to piss anybody off or upset anybody. Let's see what we got here. Drug testing. Everybody passed their drug testing and stuff like that. But this is the end of this episode, guys. Thank y'all for watching the video. Thank y'all for liking. I hope y'all like this what if. I like booking what if scenarios. I really don't like replaying history and stuff like that. Like, I like the what if scenarios of TEW. Like, what if this happened, or what if that didn't happen but this happened instead. And I like doing stuff like that. But hopefully y'all like this. ECW as a basically developmental territory for the World Wrestling Federation. Thank y'all for liking the video. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for liking. Thank y'all for subscribing. For those of y'all haven't subscribed, the subscribe icon will be over the ECW image, and I will have the new ECW playlist right here. Moving forward, we'll have the playlist right here, so you can go back and watch previous episodes and catch up and everything like that. My name is Dylan the Villain, guys, and like always, if you can't play with each other, do it I do, and play with yourself. Thank y'all for watching, and we'll see y'all on the next one.